Hola Spanish learners from all over the world. Saludos desde Colombia. Yo me llamo Mikey.
Y mi nombre es Diego. Bienvenidos a un nuevo podcast de Cospanish. It's common to hear on television or on radio that Spanish speaker characters usually say hola when saying hello and adios when saying goodbye. However, when it comes to greetings and farewells, it's more than that.
Spanish is a very broad language full of synonyms and expressions. Therefore, depending on the region and the context, there is a wide range of words that we can use to say hello and goodbye, and that is exactly what we are going to talk about in today's podcast.
Do you know more ways to say hola and adios in Spanish? Stay tuned and make yourself comfortable because now you are going to learn some of these expressions and how to respond to them.
To start, as in English, there are different ways to say hello and goodbye based on a formal or an informal context, so it is in Spanish. But what do we understand by a formal or an informal context? That's very simple though.
A formal context is that one that is different from the interaction with family and friends. That is to say, people who don't belong to our inner social circle. For example, our boss, teachers or professors, doctors, lawyers, etc. So let's get started with the words we can use in a formal context.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, and buenas noches are common formal greetings. We use them according to the moment of the day. So the first one, buenos días, is good morning. And as you can tell, we use it when greeting in the morning. The second one is buenas tardes, which is used as good afternoon. And we say buenas noches when meaning good evening.
Note that when we say buenos días, we use buenos because the word días is masculine in Spanish, whereas tardes and noches are feminine, and therefore we use buenas. We use the same expressions when responding to them. For example,
Buenos días, Diego.
Buenos días, Mikey.
Similar to this, we have the singular form of the previous expressions, buen día, buena tarde, and buena noche, and they have the same meaning of the plural ones.
Moving on to other formal ways of saying hello, we can ask someone, ¿Cómo le va? Which means, how do you do? ¿Cómo está? How are you? And ¿Cómo ha estado? How have you been? The response to any of these greetings is almost the same. Bien or muy bien y usted, which in English means something like good and you or fine and you.
However, there is a slight difference for the first one. ¿Cómo le va? In this case, we reply bien y a usted, but it means the same. Example.
Buenas tardes, Mikey. ¿Cómo le va?
Buenas tardes, Diego. Muy bien. ¿Y a usted?
Muy bien, gracias.
The word gracias means thanks for asking in this situation. And basically, these are the most common ways to greet a person in Spanish. You see, it's not that complicated. Now, let's continue with farewells in a formal context.
If your intention is to say have a nice day, in Spanish you have two options. Que tenga un buen día or que le vaya bien. Hasta luego is see you later. Hasta pronto is see you soon. And hasta mañana is see you tomorrow.
Buenas noches, besides meaning good evening, as we mentioned before, it's also used to say good night. Also, que tenga una buena noche is another way to say the same thing. It's up to you, the one you choose.
Any or all of these expressions work when saying goodbye, and you can also take into consideration that we can combine them. For example,
Hasta mañana, Diego.
Buenas noches, Mikey.
Hasta luego, Diego. Que tenga un buen día.
Hasta luego, Mikey. Lo mismo.
Say lo mismo when you wish the same thing for the other person. In other words, when you mean likewise or same to you.
Now that you know how to say hello and goodbye in a formal way in Spanish, let's practice with this short conversation. Pay close attention and try to identify what expressions we are using. Here we go.
Buenas noches, Diego. ¿Cómo está?
Bien, ¿y usted?
Muy bien, gracias.
Que tenga una buena noche.
Lo mismo, que le vaya bien.
Here we go again, but in a more natural way this time.
Buenas noches, Diego. ¿Cómo está?
Bien, ¿y usted?
Muy bien, gracias.
Que tenga una buena noche.
Lo mismo, que le vaya bien.
Now that you are aware of what expressions to use in order to say hello and goodbye in a formal context, let's go over the informal ones.
To begin, we are going to mention the most common informal greetings and how to respond to them. Listen to this short conversation. Buenas, Diego.
Hola, Mikey. ¿Cómo vas?
¿Todo bien? ¿Y tú?
Bien.
In the conversation, we used buenas to say hi. You can also use hola, which means hello. In the response, we said ¿Cómo vas? That is, how's it going? However, we can also use other expressions to say the same. For example, ¿Cómo estás? How are you doing? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? What's new? ¿Qué tal? And ¿qué hubo? That is something like what's up. You might hear people pronouncing the last one as ¿qué hubo? Instead of ¿qué hubo? Since in Spanish we tend to shorten and link words in conversations.
As you heard in the previous conversation, we said todo bien.
All good, everything is fine.
When responding to the question, ¿Cómo vas? Considering that this is an informal conversation, we can show interest on how the other person feels by asking ¿y tú? Or ¿y vos?, used in some South American countries. Both expressions mean and you. Notice that there are other ways to use in this situation, such as más o menos,
So,
regular,
it's okay,
and mal,
bad.
As this is an informal context, we can feel free to say to the other person how we really feel, something that you should avoid in a formal context.
Now, if you are in a rush or you don't have the time to have a deep conversation, you can say goodbye using any of the following expressions. Ciao,
Bye or bye-bye.
nos vemos,
See you.
que te vaya bien,
Have a nice day.
cuídate,
Take care.
and hasta la próxima.
So long. You have probably heard hasta la vista, but is not commonly used in conversations. Now we are going to give you two examples of these expressions in two short conversations.
As we did before, first we are going to speak slowly, and then we will speak as we do naturally. Listen carefully.
Hola Mikey, ¿qué tal?
Hola Diego, bien, ¿y vos?
Muy bien.
Chao,
Que te vaya bien. Hola Mikey, ¿qué tal?
hola Diego, bien, ¿y vos?
Muy bien.
Chao,
Que te vaya bien.
hola Diego,
¿Qué hubo Mikey?
bien, bien, ¿y tú?
Todo bien.
Nos vemos.
Cuídate.
Hola Diego,
¿Qué hubo Mikey?
bien, bien, ¿y tú?
Todo bien.
Nos vemos.
Cuídate.
And that would be all. Now that you know these expressions, we hope you find them useful so you can start using them in basic conversations. What do you think of these expressions? Have you heard any others we didn't mention here? Let us know.
Do you want to expand your knowledge and practice more about these or other topics? We invite you to meet our experienced, professional Colombian tutors. All you have to do is to visit cospanish.com and book a lesson with any of them. We're waiting for you. Challenge yourself and start speaking Spanish.
Gracias por escuchar y hasta la próxima.